John, recovering from addiction is a family struggle, yet all too often the loved ones of longtime addicts are overlooked, forced to deal with feelings of hopelessness and isolation. But there is some help on the way in the form of a new book. It's called Beyond the Lingo, Working Through Recovery Concepts. And the author, Devon Blackwood, with Johns Hopkins, joins us this morning. Good morning, Mr. Blackwood. Thanks so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. You
have been counseling addicts for about 15 years?
Yes, at least 15 years. I've been at Hopkins for just about 15 years now, and I work with people with addictions as well as their family members. But sometimes it gets very difficult too, because sometimes the family members really don't know what kind of help to get, and they're very lost in the process.
So if you're a family a close friend or a family member who has identified someone who does have an addiction problem, what can you do to intervene?
Well, many times, if they're a clinician, they can move quickly towards intervention, but sometimes friends or colleagues or even the family members themselves really don't know what to do, because they don't really know what to say and how to convey the message of hope, and sometimes they feel as if they're infringing on the personal rights of people. But for people who would really like to help, what they could probably do is at least to convey some feelings of concerns to them and sort of point out that they're really there to help in a very gentle and not a very confrontative manner, because people with addictions already have a high degree of defense mechanisms and sometimes denial and rationalization. And
that's brought on by the addiction.
Things. Right, absolutely.
By the chemical dependency itself.
Yes, and also stigmatization too. I mean, when we think about stigma, it's not only for the addict himself, but also for the family members, and sometimes family members who suffer in the process keep it as quite a secret because they really don't want outsiders to know.
The shame involved.
Well, absolutely, the shame involved, and especially women too. Do you know that women tend to stay with addictions much longer?
Yeah, why is that? You said that a woman typically feels more shame for an addiction than a man would. Why is that? Have you identified why?
Yeah, because even in 21st century America, there's still quite a double standard, and that the expectations for women is so different from men. But a lot of times too, there's this thing about self-esteem and really what a lady ought to be like, and but they really shouldn't get caught up in certain things. And so much of the ladies that I work with at Hopkins, many of them have lived a life of prostitution. They have suffered tremendous abuse and domestic violence in all its forms, and sexual assault, and many times it's quite demoralizing for them. So often they just really keep it quite a secret because of the enormous shame and demoralization that they feel.
Even in the best case scenario, you intervene, the addict admits, yes, I have a problem, you get the addict help. Oftentimes, friends and family don't get help for themselves. What can they keep in mind throughout the process?
Right, well, it's critical here for the family members to get help, because it can really have a devastating emotional strain on family members, and sometimes in their own frustration they get depressed, they get sad, and really very unmotivated to move forward with their life. So some of the initial things that family members can do is, one, to ask questions, to keep the line of communication open, to seek for professional help, to get help from their physician or a nurse at a neighborhood clinic. I know that at Hopkins, where I work every day, my colleagues and I, whether if it's the First Step Day Hospital or the a motivated behaviors unit upon psychiatry, we are quite dedicated to helping people in the process. So family members should really know that they are experts of and clinicians who are dedicated to the process of really helping.
I know that in 3 minutes we're obviously not even going to scratch the surface of this issue, so you might want to pick up Mr. Blackwood's book. Again, the name is Beyond the Lingo. It's called Working Through Recovery Concepts, and it's by Devon Blackwood with Johns Hopkins Hospital. And just want to mention he's also a mentor with a great organization called Baltimore Rising here. It's the mayor's faith-based initiative for at-risk youth. Thanks so much for being here.
Yes, could I also give information on how people can contact me?
We'll put all that information on our website so people can get in touch with you.
All right, thank you very much.
And stay with us. Animal Rescue's coming up next with a pet that needs a home. But first, we're going to have a look at last night's winning lottery number.